The reality is most Bitcoin is lost, not stolen, from someone's own poor setup or mistake of their Bitcoin backups. There's one tip to strengthen your Bitcoin setup that I think everybody should do, but not all do it right or just avoid it altogether because they don't know where to start. My name's Darren. I've helped thousands of people just like you use Bitcoin. In today's video, I'm going to give you the 101 beginner step about securing your Bitcoin recovery seed into a metal backup. We're going to cover what that means, what the options are, the pros and cons of each way, what to avoid, and where to get started. First, let's get a brief overview of what we're trying to accomplish. All Bitcoin in the world are secured by a public-private key pair. To move Bitcoin, sell it, or spend it, you need to unlock it with your private key. Now, public and private keys look like this. They are unique as a grain of sand is in the universe. So back in the day, you would have to remember this number to recover your Bitcoin when it comes to moving it. This can get complex to store. One mistake and your Bitcoin is essentially stuck forever. This is where you see people digging through landfills to try to find this private key information. So instead of copying this from one device to another, writing this long string on paper, wondering if you made a mistake along the way, in came Bitcoin improvement proposals, or BIPs for short. Now, BIPs are community-driven that provide proposals on how to improve Bitcoin, the software itself, its use case, fix certain things, and just make it overall easier for us to use on a day-to-day basis. Today, a majority of Bitcoin wallets, a Bitcoin wallet helps you generate keys and use Bitcoin, support the standard of BIP32 and BIP39. BIP39 gave us a list of seed words, 2,400 words, that can help you regenerate your key that's specific to you. Now, when setting up your Bitcoin wallet for the first time, you may have been hit with the backup seed phrase section or seed words. Depending on what wallet you have, you may have a list of 24 words, 20, or 12 words that are unique to you that can derive your private key. So if you ever lost the wallet you were using today, the device you were using, all you would have to do is have those lists of words and put it into a new wallet software or hardware to regenerate your Bitcoin and recover it. These seed words come at a great responsibility. If you ever provided them to anyone else, they would have the ability to recover your Bitcoin. So the do's and don'ts of your seeds are never ever put them online. This means taking a picture of them, writing into the computer, putting them in a password manager. Now, to go right along with that, you will never ever provide this seed phrase to anyone. If I was to scam you, I would try to call you up and ask for your seed phrase. I would say, hey, this is Darren from Trezor Support. We're having issues with Trezor right now. You're going to have to provide the 12 words to recover your Bitcoin. And in a panic, you might provide me those 12 words, and boom, I have your Bitcoin. And then third, make sure we don't create our own seed phrase. We're going to use proper entropy on hardware wallets, Bitcoin software that's open source, that has been verified by others that provide proper entropy, as opposed to just outsmarting the system and thinking, oh, I'll just use an easy seed phrase. I'm just going to use dinner, 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 dinner 12 times, so I'll never forget my seed phrase. In reality, there's softwares out there that are just scraping easy to regenerate seed phrases with low entropy and wiping those on a regular basis. So after those do's and don'ts, you're probably thinking, that's all I need to do is just keep these 12 words safe on paper. Doesn't that feel a little like old analog style? And yes, that's exactly the point. You can just use these words and regenerate your Bitcoin. The whole point of this video is not to stop here. Having your seed phrase comes at many risks, from fire damage, water damage, fading. There's been a ton of hurricanes and fires in the US recently, and I'm sure some seed phrases in Bitcoin was lost along the way. Because if a laser beam hit your house today and evaporated your seed phrase, your Bitcoin would essentially be stuck forever because you don't have the key to unlock it. For these reasons, I recommend putting those seed words you have onto metal. It's important to do this yourself. Never trust a company or individual to put your seed words onto metal, because if they are asking for it, it's a scam. Second is ensure the metal you're using is either stainless steel or titanium. Despite that we were told in school that fire can melt steel beams, the reality is stainless steel and titanium have one of the highest melting points compared to a cheap metal like aluminum or copper. There's a ton of products online that we can turn to that sell kits for us to do this ourselves. And the four categories are stamping, etching, center or hole punch, and tiled. Now, each come with their pros and cons, but I think all of these categories are better than just pen and paper. Now, the first way is to stamp your seed phrase into metal. This is literally taking a stamping kit of the alphabet and to metal with a hammer and the kit. The one I recommend is Stamp Seed. They sell the steel plates and the kit if you want to buy it directly through them. Other iterations of this are stamping it onto fasteners and then twisting them together. I would avoid this if I was you. A lot of things can go wrong when you add more pieces. One day it could get unlinked, unscrewed, and all the pieces would be randomly in the wrong order and you may not be able to recover your Bitcoin. A lot of fasteners, washers, screws these days are made with cheap aluminum in this fiat world, making it possible to melting and never being able to recover those pieces. So keep it as simple as possible. Stamp it onto a flat, thick piece of steel or titanium. Next is etching. So etching is similar to stamping, but you're going to use an etching pen and etch that seed phrase into steel. This can be very difficult because your penmanship has to be perfect. You have to make sure your etching is sharp enough to help protect from wear and tear. And I would not use etching without using a stencil of some kind, like the one I recommend, Crypto Seed Bank. It comes with a stencil. You're able to follow the stencil so you don't have to worry about your penmanship when etching it into steel. The third type is called center or hole punching. It's essentially all you have to do is stamp a dot, X or circle onto a steel plate. Now, the cool part about the 2048 word list is it actually doesn't have to be the entire word. All you need to regenerate your seed phrase is literally just the first 4 characters. So a lot of the steel center punching comes with a grid of just the 4 characters where you would choose where your first letter is and hole punch that spot in. The one I recommend for this is the Seed Plate by CoinKite. This version is also great for OPSEC. I guarantee in the next 10 years, everybody will know what a 12 or 24 word list is. If somebody just saw a grid of dots, they might pass over that thinking it's nothing. So OPSEC wise, this could be a great solution. Now the problem is it could be confusing for you to recover the Bitcoin if you don't remember what all these dots mean on your seed plate. Fourth version is a tiled version, something from Blockstream. It's a kit that comes with multiple pieces, kind of like Scrabble. You're going to put all the pieces together to spell out the words properly. They're going to have screws to keep it together. These have been shown not to be the best in crush tests, melting tests. The pieces can scramble or come apart. So again, more pieces are more of a risk. So to review, if you're going to stamp your seed phrase into steel, which you should, 1, you should do it yourself. Don't trust anybody else to do it. 2, it should be a thick single piece of stainless steel or titanium. Next, it should be as minimal pieces as possible. And last, it should be eligible where you know how to decipher it and uncode it in the future if you ever had to recover. That even includes your next generation. If they don't know how to use it, if they don't understand it, it's not really going to help them recover your Bitcoin. Bitcoin's pretty simple if you think about it. All you have to do is keep the steel plate safe and just keep it simple. You don't want to create as many copies of your seed phrase as you can. You want to limit that. So the less you have to secure, the better. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll answer them as quick as I can or message me directly. Happy to help in any way. If you want more videos on how to buy Bitcoin, store Bitcoin, use Bitcoin effectively, I have lots of videos on my channel or a list on my website of all my tutorials. And thanks for watching.